Welcome to the NCV Mathematics Level 2. Today we are looking at finding the equation of a parabola, and as in the previous, we need to be given information. In my first question, I'm given determine the equation of a graph. The graph is drawn, and on the graph I can see that the parabola is turning at point 4 on the y-axis, and the point is given to me 1 and 1. So what I know at this stage is that this is a turning point, and this point represents my q value. My standard equation once again is y equals to ax squared plus q, and using that information I can now determine that my y-intercept is 0 and 4 from this over the graph where I see, and I can see also that point there is the y-intercept and is the q value. So I then substitute the q value, which is 4, into my standard equation. We will have now y equals to ax squared plus 4. I can now use the other point given on the graph, which is 1 and 1, and substitute that in my equation so far. So that would mean the 1 of y substituted and the x of 1 of x substituted. I will have 1 equals to a 1 squared plus 4. Manipulate that. I can now determine for a, that would give me 1 minus a plus 4, and when we simplify and manipulate to get a, we find a would be a minus 3, which is the 4 minus the 1. So using that, now I've got the a value and I've got the q value. I can now complete the equation. So equation for this is y equals to minus 3x squared plus 4, a determined there and q determined from the graph, the y-intercept. In my next example, I've got the equation, the question, find the equation of the following, and again a graph is given. This time there is no turning point on this graph. Only points are given is a minus 1 and 1 and a 2 and a minus 2. So I need to find the equation of this. Again, you start off with this standard equation, y is equal to ax squared plus q. We can now take these 2 points and substitute each one directly into the standard equation. So substituting minus 1 and 1 will give me a 1 equals to a, and substituting minus 1 into x will give me a minus 1 x squared plus q. We call that equation number 1. Substituting the point 2 and minus 2 will give me a minus 2 minus a 2 squared plus q, and we call that equation number 2. Simplify, we can say now we got 1 minus 1a plus q for equation 1, and for equation 2 we will have minus 2 minus 4a plus q. Our next step looks familiar. It's simultaneous equations. We can now solve both equations, and the next step in solving that will take equation number 2 and subtract it from equation number 1. That means 1 and minus 2, so minus 2 minus 1, we can subtract that, will give me a minus 3, and 4 subtract from 1 will also give me a 3, and the q minus a q will give you 0. You are left with minus 3 is equal to 3a. This is a linear equation. You can solve for a easily. Bring 3 over, must be divided, and minus 3 divided by 3 gives you minus 1. You've got a. Now you can substitute that a value of minus 1 into any one of the two equations, equation 1 or equation 2. We chose equation 1, so I'm going to substitute here in the place of a the value of minus 1. That would give me 1 equals to 1, multiply, substitute minus 1 plus q, and manipulating that would give you that q is equal to 2. We've got all the ingredients to finally get our equation. We've got our a value and we've got our q value, and therefore our equation must be y is equal to minus x squared plus 2.